Welcome to The Newsworthy, all the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for pressing play today. We are talking about everything from a new list of demands from President Trump and what happened with Hurricane Nate to Star Wars and Szechuan sauce, plus much more, all in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Monday, October 9th. You ready? Let's do this. It's been 1 week now since the mass shooting in Las Vegas, and there are more details about a note the shooter had with him in the hotel room. CBS's 60 Minutes reported Stephen Paddock had a note of numbers, and those numbers were things like the distance from him to the target and the elevation he was at so he could aim accurately. Apparently, he had done all these calculations beforehand. Also today, people who were there could now start picking up their personal items. Because think about it, thousands of people dropped everything they had to run for safety. And the country singer who was on stage when that shooting happened was on Saturday Night Live over the weekend. Jason Aldean said he's struggling to understand what happened, but that America's bond and spirit are unbreakable. He sang "I Won't Back Down" by Tom Petty, who died last week. The storm, known as Nate, did get stronger and turned into a Category 1 hurricane when it hit Mississippi over the weekend. The Weather Channel says there was some major flooding, some water rescues, and even tornadoes. But at this point, no reports that anyone died. Tens of thousands of people, though, lost power in both Mississippi and Alabama from the strong winds. Nate then got weaker and is now considered a tropical depression. But today, it will still mean some heavy rain for the Northeast. Cell phone service because of balloons. It's a thing, and it could help out people in Puerto Rico. TechCrunch reports more than 80% of Puerto Rico still doesn't have cell phone service right now because of all the damage from Hurricane Maria a couple weeks ago. So now Google's parent company, called Alphabet, just got the okay to send up balloons to help provide cell phone service. It's experimental still, but apparently these balloons have helped Peru in the past after some flooding there. For Puerto Rico, Alphabet just needs a cell phone company to partner with it to pull this new plan off. The high-altitude balloons go up like weather balloons, and they can reach 60,000 feet. They can then stay up there for more than 100 days. President Trump just put out a new list of demands when it comes to immigration policies. Reuters says he wants funding for a border wall, and some other stuff, like a crackdown on children from Central America getting into the U.S., and the okay to hire more immigration enforcement agents. He says that's gotta be part of the deal to keep DACA in place. Remember, DACA is the program that protects dreamers. They are undocumented immigrants who were brought to the U.S. as children. If Congress doesn't come up with a deal or a plan of some sort by March, DACA could end altogether. The Trump administration is now saying these new demands are to make up for the legal issues that come with DACA and the money spent on the program. But some top Democrats are saying the new list, not reasonable, and that it's not a compromise. They made it clear the wall should not be part of this deal. So this issue is still in the works. It could cost more for some women to get birth control now. The AP says the Trump administration is allowing more employers to say no thanks and opt out of covering the cost of birth control for employees. The change basically adds an exemption based on religious or moral reasons. The original rule to mandate free birth control was put in place by the Obama administration, but this new revised version goes into effect right away. Critics say it's discrimination against women, and they plan to take it to court. Hollywood hotshot Harvey Weinstein is officially out of a job, forced out by his own company. Variety reports the Weinstein Company's board of directors voted to remove him because of all those accusations about sexual harassment. Remember, the New York Times reported last week that Weinstein has been harassing women for decades and even settled claims with some of them. Weinstein is well known in the movie biz. His company is an indie film and TV studio. He also co-founded Miramax before he sold it, which was behind movies like Pulp Fiction. By the way, Weinstein's lawyer also left his side. She resigned over the weekend. Today is Columbus Day, so heads up, some places like the post office may be closed. Time reports when it comes to banks, it really just depends. Some are open, but others, like Bank of America, tend to be closed. Some states actually don't observe Columbus Day at all anymore. States like Alaska and Vermont now observe Indigenous Peoples Day instead. USA Today reports cities like Los Angeles and Austin voted to do the same in recent months. All right, a quick look around the world. Right now, it doesn't look like there will be much traveling between the U.S. and Turkey. CNN says both countries have suspended visa services for the other. This all happened after a U.S. consulate employee was arrested in Turkey. More than 1,000 people believed to be ISIS fighters have apparently just given up and surrendered. The New York Times says they're prisoners now. Iraqi forces backed by the U.S. have retaken the city of Hawija in northern Iraq. Some say it's another sign the terror group is collapsing. A huge rally in Barcelona was meant to show people that not everyone in Catalonia wants to break up with the rest of Spain. The BBC says hundreds of thousands of people were there with signs that said things like, "Together we are stronger." Remember, Catalonia had voted for independence, but the Spanish government said, I don't think so, the vote is illegal. Some in Catalonia, though, are not giving up, so this is clearly a dividing issue. Other things people may be talking about today, Vice President Mike Pence. He and his wife walked out of an NFL game in Indiana. They said it's because they can't support anything that disrespects soldiers, our flag, and the national anthem. And yes, we're referring to some players with the San Francisco 49ers kneeling during the national anthem before Sunday's game. President Trump later tweeted that he asked the VP to leave if anyone was kneeling. Critics fired back, saying the whole thing was a pre-planned PR stunt. Reminder, there's been a bunch of back and forth between the White House and the NFL for a few weeks now. President Trump called on coaches to fire anyone who was kneeling during the national anthem, and the players said they're protesting racial injustice, not the flag. The soap company Dove is saying sorry. Dove is backpedaling after an offensive ad on Facebook. NBC News shows screenshots apparently captured from the ad. It seems to show a black woman in a dark top taking off her shirt to reveal a white woman in a lighter top, as if it's implying she used the soap to turn white. People on social media are letting the company know they do not like this ad. Some are even saying they'll boycott the company. Again, Dove is apologizing and has since deleted the ad, but it's not the first time there's been a controversial Dove promo. Back in 2011, there was another one. The company apologized back then, too. 26.2 miles in just 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 20 seconds. Runner's World says that's how fast Galen Rupp ran the Chicago Marathon yesterday, and he's the first American to win that race since 2002. He went home with a $100,000 paycheck and an extra $15,000 for being the top American. Star Wars fanatics, get ready. The official trailer for Star Wars The Last Jedi will air during Monday Night Football tonight, and tickets will go on sale tonight, too. The movie hits theaters in December. Have you heard of Szechuan McNugget sauce? There was a whole thing that happened about it on Saturday. The sauce was originally a McDonald's promo back in the 90s, but then it was featured on the adult cartoon show Rick and Morty, so fans of the show wanted to see it have a comeback. McDonald's said, okay, we're bringing it back for one day only on Saturday. But one small problem. They definitely underestimated the demand. McDonald's ran out of the stuff fast, and the crowds who had waited in line got angry. Let's just say at some locations, the cops were called, and McDonald's had to say sorry. Before Twitter and even MySpace, there was AIM, AOL Instant Messenger. It launched 20 years ago, by the way, in 1997. It became one of the first popular ways people would just kind of hang out online. But this December, AIM, AIM, will RIP. CNN reports AIM will shut down for good on December 15th, but TechCrunch has a quick warning for you. Resist the urge to share your old AIM screen name while you're reminiscing. It can be a goldmine of info for hackers trying to steal your identity, or it can just mean others can easily find out what you did and said back in the day. And that's it. You were all caught up from the weekend. If you want to read more about any of the stories I talked about today, just head on over to thenewsworthy.com and look for today's show notes. All the links to each story will be right there for you. I so appreciate you listening today and for subscribing and leaving reviews. If you haven't already and you do get value out of this, please do leave a review. It really helps other people know they should listen and give The Newsworthy a try. All right, let's chat again tomorrow. Thanks again for listening. Have a great Monday.